There's been like this joke or meme with Fallout 76 updates where people say for every one step the game takes forward, it typically takes another 2 steps back. This is mostly due to the fact that with each subsequent update to the game, there's normally a couple of additional bugs implemented. I talked about this in previous videos, and this video is similar in that sense, but also quite different. And actually, I don't think that meme or joke, whatever you want to call it, has ever been more true than today. The reason being, with the latest Fallout 76 update, they literally took steps back. It seems like they somehow managed to revert certain aspects of the game. So some of the changes they made over the past couple of weeks were actually changed back to how they were previous to a couple of weeks ago. I'm not quite sure how they managed that one, but either way, in this video, we're going to be looking at some of those mishaps as well as some other bugs introduced with the latest update to Fallout 76. And even may there be some evidence that Bethesda is deleting certain posts criticizing the game or pointing out some of these bugs. One post claiming that certainly got a lot of attention. But before we jump into all of that, I do want to share a quick message from today's video sponsor, and that's going to be Dollar Shave Club. We all have our own morning routines. For some of you, it involves showering and shaving. For others, it might just be fixing your hair and you're out the door. Well, either way, something I bet some of you guys didn't know is that Dollar Shave Club, yes, that Dollar Shave Club, can actually satisfy all of your grooming needs. Things like toothpaste, body wash, hairstyling products, basically everything you're going to need to look, feel, and smell your best. The best part is Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their starter sets. You can get their shave, shower, or oral care starter sets for just $5 each, or for a combined cost of $15. You can find this offer by clicking on the link down below or just going to dollarshaveclub.com/JuiceHead. Any of the 3 sets is going to have what you need to start smelling, looking, and even feeling a bit better. Or alternatively, if you just want to help out the channel. But back to Fallout 76, in my video yesterday, I regarded this latest update as one of the best that we've gotten thus far. My real justification to that was, even though some of the balance changes are frustrating in the short term, 2 of the long-term changes we saw, that being all of the plans now showing up at vendors, as well as the carry weight limit to 1500, will have long-term benefits to the health of the game, reducing server instability, but also just user frustrations with having to server hop. Well, in light of all the extra baggage that comes with this patch, which I'll go over in this video, I've changed the title of that video to one of the best updates in theory, and also pinned a comment explaining why I've done so. So as far as what was rebroken and what is newly broken with this current patch, one of the most obvious ones and most talked about ones is the bobby pin change. In the January 10th patch to Fallout 76, Bethesda announced that bobby pins, instead of weighing 0.1 weight, will now weigh 0.001 weight. Well, as users logged in today, they realized that was reverted, so now many people will be quite a few pounds heavier depending on how many bobby pins you are carrying around. There were also some reports that it was just a visual bug on the bobby pins and your carry weight didn't actually change, but no, mine was actually 7.5 higher or lower. Even further, one of the most obvious bugs that has made a return, or actually is kind of new with this update, is inability to connect to servers. I now consistently run into issues while trying to join servers. I'll just get an error, I won't be able to connect to the server, and then I'll have to back out and try again. This was a pretty common problem in some of the older builds of the game, was subsequently squashed in the last patch, even though there was a lot of server disconnects and server instability while actually on the server. For whatever reason, now I'm running into it while just trying to join a new server freshly, whether it be joining onto a friend or even just the first time I click the play button. Not a good look when the first thing I get when clicking play is cannot connect. There are reports that one of the old duping methods has made a return. This one is rather hard to verify. One of the ways in which you do this involves something that has been leading to a lot of user ban. But at least as of right now, as far as it goes for that one, I've heard mixed reports. Some people saying they've tried several things and it hasn't worked. Other people saying that it is actually working, and then you have the Reddit post saying it's working. But again, there's very little verification, so for the time being, I would assume everything's still a-okay. There are several duping methods out there right now that are known about, some of them not being shared too widely, and even some that are being shared widely that didn't actually get patched in this latest update. So maybe users are looking at one of those and assuming it's a previously unpatched one. And at least for now, those were all the old bugs that could get some verification that were re-implemented. But with this has also come a plethora of newly introduced bugs, just adding icing onto the top of things. For some reason, scrap in this game no longer works if it's bulked. So bulking is basically taking a bunch of individual pieces of scrap and making it into one larger, bigger piece that contains all the little pieces. It effectively is only useful when selling scrap, but a lot of people do it just to tidy up their stashes. It seems like something is going on with some of the mutations in this game. Either the bonuses of those mutations are being doubled, such as with the marsupial mutation, people can jump twice as high, or alternatively, in a much worse scenario, some other people are actually reporting that their mutations aren't working at all or are significantly nerfed compared to previous patches. There also have been some very odd weight fluctuations. This is something I've seen on my own character, where all of a sudden my carry weight will go up or down just randomly. I don't actually change anything. This would kind of make sense considering the fact that Bethesda just imposed this carry weight limit. Now basically you can only have your base carry weight plus 1500 as the maximum even if you want to be over encumbered. But even further with that limit, apparently there's some kind of hidden facets to it, such as certain weight reduction perk cards don't actually affect your overall carry weight. So let's say perk cards drop your carry weight by 50, those aren't being calculated when looking at the maximum carry weight of that character. And another just kind of funny bug, now people are discovering as they go to play the game, they're getting the option to connect to adventure mode. This is a screen that will seemingly be used when picking between adventure or survival mode. In the past, Bethesda has shared this picture. Survival mode is a brand new server type and game mode coming to Fallout 76, but as of right now, there's just adventure mode. People aren't supposed to see the screen, yet quite a few people are reporting that they do. All of this has come with some really big backlash from the Fallout 76 community. Although it is important to take some of this with a grain of salt. For example, one of the commonly reported bugs is that they reverted how often you get fusion cores from fusion core processors, saying that it was reverted to 0.8 per hour instead of the 8 per hour it was recently patched to. That's totally untrue, at least on PC. In my own testing, you still get 8 per hour. Nothing was changed there. And although I could verify that that one wasn't true, there are several bugs that have been reported I'm not including in this video because I couldn't verify their truthfulness or untruthfulness. I didn't know of anybody that had tested them successfully or unsuccessfully, or they weren't reflected by file changes. Although I think part of the reason we're actually seeing this be spread around so much, or the reason it seems to be such a big deal among the Fallout community, is people are kind of annoyed. In this past patch, we saw several nerfs to things people enjoyed using, some of their favorite perk cards, two-shot explosive weapons, so a lot of people want to believe Bethesda are making bad decisions right now because it helps fuel their narrative. But to some extent, it seems like that's to the point of spreading misinformation. I've seen many people still talking about this fusion core thing as if it's real. Yet if you go in game and wait all of 15 minutes, you'll get to fusion cores and realize no, it's not producing 1 per hour, it's producing 8 per hour. And several of these other bugs are being posted around with literally no proof whatsoever. It's just somebody heard somebody else talk about it, took it as fact, and thus it must be true. And I think in some ways, that's really the larger story here. People are pissed. People are pissed at Bethesda. I've seen a lot of posts throwing around this is the straw that broke the camel's back, or even that people are uninstalling or done with this game. That's something that happens with every major change. People in general don't like change, especially when it's nerfs. But this one really stands out to me. It's way more overt. It's getting way more support than it has in the past, and I'm curious to see if this actually is a thing. Is it people just pissed that need to blow off steam and it'll blow over in a couple of days, or are we actually going to see drops in players due to these latest updates? Although something interesting for those of you that want to put on a tinfoil hat, one of the original posts bringing many of these issues to light where the discussion really started was actually removed by the moderators. Now in fairness, this did contain misinformation. It was saying that the fusion core change was active while in reality it isn't, at least on PC as I mentioned, but it was also shortly after one of the community managers responded that they were looking into this, and although that one was removed, there are now several other posts talking about this that haven't been removed. But as I mentioned earlier in this video, it seems like the removal of that original post has spawned almost what I would actually call a conspiracy theory that Bethesda is actually going out and silencing some of these negative parties. This mainly comes from one thread on the regular Fallout subreddit, not the Fallout 76 subreddit, and this is suggesting that the last Fallout 76 patch is a disaster, and Bethesda now silently deletes/removes threads and users from their forum over it, so effectively censoring people that are talking about how much of a disaster this past patch is. The post itself really has 3 indications of proof of this. First and foremost, that thread I was just talking about that was removed from the regular Fallout 76 subreddit. Although in fairness, that subreddit is run by moderators, not actually by Bethesda. Bethesda does post on it, they kind of dubbed it their official subreddit because of how active they are on it, but at the same time, it effectively is privately owned. I'm sure the moderators have contacts at Bethesda, but it's not clear if Bethesda really has a clear role in actually saying, hey, we want this post removed, please do that for us. But even further, it goes on to talk about how he actually took some of the details of that original post, posted them on the official Bethesda forums, and that is a forum that is moderated by Bethesda employees and Bethesda appointed moderators. That post being subsequently locked for baiting and bashing as per the moderator that locked it. Reading through the post, there were certainly users like going at it with each other, but I wouldn't say it was significantly worse than other things I've seen. But then even further, the user goes on to say, after that original one was locked, he tried creating a new one that was a bit more peaceful, and that post got instantly removed and his account was banned, thus leading him to conclude that Bethesda is silencing people that are talking negatively about this latest update. So to that, I would say no, I really don't think that's the case, mainly because if you actually just look at either the Fallout 76 subreddit or even the official Bethesda forums, there are tons of posts talking about the negatives here, calling out Bethesda for what they're doing, and just all around a lot of anger towards the game and the company. If Bethesda was trying to silence people, either they did it for only a very short period of time or they gave up really quickly. Maybe you disagree with me and you think Bethesda actually was trying to silence this guy or people in general, but I just don't really think we currently have the proof to suggest that that could be true. If there are multiple people coming forward saying they were banned and their posts removed, I think there'd be a lot more merit here, but as of right now, I think it's more of just wishful thinking. As far as Bethesda's response to this, as I mentioned, the community managers have actually been fairly active as far as this problem goes. This is mostly on the Fallout 76 subreddit, but the vast majority of posts that are kind of overtly negative or criticizing this update or patch do get official Bethesda responses. Some of them just trying to gain more information, such as this one. We're digging into this to understand the scope of the issue. If you or anyone else have more information you can provide, we will be actively looking at comments related to this. And other ones that are more just kind of like, alright, we hear you, we're gonna pass this along. Although I think overall this is gonna be an interesting update because people are really mad. Like, this is one of the subreddits that has been really positive towards Fallout 76 for most of its lifespan. It's certainly gone through pretty negative periods in the past. The top voted post of all time is about Baggate and how Bethesda was misleading consumers, but even beyond that, many users are calling for change. Quite a few posts at this point have actually popped up talking about how they want management changes at Bethesda. This is something that has popped up several times over the whole controversy with Fallout 76, which has kind of spanned its entire lifespan at this point. As of right now, it doesn't really seem like anything's changed because even though Bethesda has improved, things certainly have gotten better, we still do have issues like this one popping up. But even further, many people are requesting some kind of test server, and I think that's the real solution, the real fix to a lot of these issues. Many online games have test servers where certain patches are posted as they're being worked on, and users on those servers can actually preview some of those changes early, but even beyond that, normally find issues or bugs coming along with them. I think overall that would be a positive change for Fallout 76, and I certainly hope it's something that ends up getting added. But yeah, otherwise that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. If you posted something on either the Fallout 76 subreddit or the Bethesda.net forums, and you do feel like it was either instantly deleted or wrongfully removed, please send me a message or something, preferably if you have some proof of that. The main reason I'm saying I don't believe the current story is because I don't think there's nearly enough proof to actually prove that, but I don't think it's impossible. But even further, I just have a question to you. What do you think happens as a result of this? Everyone's pissed and mad right now, but is it real? It's so often with games that you see everyone freaks out and then in 2 weeks it blows over and it's the same people playing again. When Fallout 76 gets its DLC, whenever that comes, whether it be a month away or just a couple of weeks away, I feel like a lot of the people that right now are saying they're uninstalling the game forever will re-download it to try that out. Whether or not they stay is a different story, but I have to imagine some people will be coming back. Either way, the chaos with Fallout 76 does continue, and I guess it's probably time for me to start looking at some of these other new games coming out. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.